I had the privilege of talking to a young man who's having a very difficult strain of life, and he's going through some things that perhaps is very challenging to him. And so I've been trying to encourage him, and I'm wondering to myself and in the subconscious of my mind, what is the proper things to say to someone who is to the point of being done with life. You want to say the right things, and you want to be able to encourage one to stand firm, even when life seems to throw you these awesome curves. When life has a tendency to bog you down to the lowest end. So what do you say? What words, what scriptures can be given or interpreted that will be fitting for the situation in which you face? I was led to this passage of scripture where Jesus is doing what he do, helping, encouraging, and providing the leadership to those he's been charged to lead. Here it is. It's found in Luke's gospel, the 17th chapter. Perhaps at the 14th verse. I'm just going to read that, and I want to challenge you to read it in your spare time or in your study, that we might be theologically correct and in sync together. The 14th verse, very simply, and I think in order for you to really get the gist of this whole thing, you have to read the entire chapter, and perhaps even go back to the 16th chapter where some things is happening. But the 14th verse says, and I'm reading from the Revised Standard, just words may slightly differ. So it says, when he saw them, he said unto them, go. When he saw them, he said unto them, go. I'm going to stop right there. I'm going to tag this subject, this text. I will use this subject. Just go. Just go. You may have a seat. This text is perhaps not supposed to have been written. Some theologians argue to the fact that it's by happen chance, but those of us who know the goodness and the love of God, nothing happens by chance. It's divinely orchestrated. Journey with me perhaps to the 2nd century, late 2nd century, where very, very dreaded, dehumanizing, and crippling disease has infected the community. That disease was so crippling and so dehumanizing that society and communities were afraid to even look upon it, to be in the midst of it. And so, by those reasons and by those strong accusations of their own calculus of misunderstanding, some laws were written pertaining to those individuals who would be infected or perhaps diagnosed or even become a victim of this dreaded disease. The dreaded disease is known as leprosy. And there were leprosy colonies established in that first century that those who were affected with the disease would go and be there away from society, not in the general population, if one would say. And when one came in contact with these individuals themselves, if they could, had to lift their voices in the pain and agony and suffering of the disease and cry unholy and unclean. How demoralizing can that be? Not only to be sick, but yet rejected because of your sickness. To be penniless, perhaps. Not of influence, and perhaps even that of influence, but to be diagnosed with this disease, it offered an awesome challenge, not only to the individuals, but to those who came in contact with it. Here, as I stated, that is by accident that there's a man who's being talked about, who has a understanding about suffering, because he came to the world to seek those who were suffering and to bring liberation to those who were captive. And by chance, he's moving through the region, and he's passing a leprosy colony, and here is 9, 10 individuals who has gathered themselves together in this little group, in this little huddle, and they sees him walking, and one of them cries out to him and says, "Master, have mercy on us." The text said he gave them his attention, and he noticed that these were a group of Jewish individuals, with the exception of one individual being a Samaritan. It was the Samaritan, perhaps some theologians raised, that it was he who cried out to Jesus. I want to put a point of reference here. Samaritans and Jews of the first century did not have much contact with each other. In fact, according to Judaizing, they despised each other. They couldn't really get together. They didn't have conversation. They segregated themselves against each other. But here in this text, you see that it doesn't matter who you are or what you are, and when you're suffering with the same causes. How can you say that you despise somebody and you're bearing the same burdens they are bearing? How is it that you can say that you don't like somebody when you're in the same like-minded when it comes to your health? I conclude, brother and sister, that it doesn't matter if you're sick and I'm sick. We both are sick. You're not better than me because you're in early stages, or perhaps I'm in late stages. But if you're sick, you're sick. And we share the commonality of being sick together. And so it doesn't matter what nationality you are, what color you are, or what nation or part of the region that you're from, you bear in common a sickness, a dreaded disease. So Jesus, he responds to them. And he says to these 10 individuals, go. Go and show yourself to the priest. Now, what I like here is that there is no rituals. And there are times when tradition plays a major part in our faith. I pastor a church where traditions are heavy. Pastor a group of individuals who are really steeped in tradition. But if you look at this text, Jesus sort of bypasses tradition. He does not say, come now and let me baptize all of you and things going to be right. He did not say, let's get together, or I'm going to call my apostles together and we're going to pray for you. He didn't say. It didn't say that we're going to get to all and we're going to anoint each and every one of you and your cares will be past. It doesn't say. The text highlights and lifts up one word. Go. I think that's a testimony to every Christian. Irregardless of what state you're in. It doesn't matter where you've been or where you're going or what you're dealing with. Just go. Where are you to go? And show yourself to the priest. It was known back in those days that the priest had to give authentic indication of anyone who had been diagnosed with leprosy, and now they come claiming to be clean, but they did not understand the reference of how they got clean. The one that we serve does not need no prescriptions or diagnosis. The one that we serve does not need no particular order of medical science. He just simply says, and if he says go, you can rest assured that while you're going, something's going to change. Something's going to happen. You are not going to be perfect. But what we have to understand is that when you are told to do something in a high order, you have to understand who you are. Because sometimes he says to you in a still, quiet voice. Sometimes he says it to you from a community standpoint or from the lecture, from the pulpit to the sermon, and you become stubborn and resistant, but he's saying to you, go. So you have to know who you are. And if you are bold and courageous, and doesn't worry about popular opinion, and doesn't worry about what obstacles or hurdles that is in your way, that if you know in your own heart that you are who you say you are, and you believe that you've been saved and you have been changed, you don't have to worry about what folks going to try to do or what folks going to try to say. You just do what you do, and you know who you are. Be bold. Be courageous. And there was a group who displayed some boldness and some courageousness in this fact. Because the text says all 9 of them, 10 of them, went. But while they were going, something took place. You see, you have to know who you are. I don't care what folks say about me, I'm saved. It don't mean, Brother Alonzo, because I'm saved, I don't make mistakes. But you can say whatever you choose to say and believe whatever you choose to believe. I know in my heart that if I close my eyes tonight, I'm going to see Jesus. I don't have any doubt, no reservation about whom I am and whom I belong, because he promised never to leave me alone. Whatever I'm going through, he's still my Savior. And the text says, I'm his child. Well, you just sung the song, I'm a friend. He called me friend. Here it is. Now, as they were going, something took place. Old songwriter says, I looked at my hand. And my hand looked new. I looked down at my feet. And the text said, they did too. As I was going, something happened along the way. I didn't quite make it to the priest, but something happened in my journey to going to the priest. I had to just go. text says that all of them was cleansed. All of them. All. Which says you can be in the right place. If you're being blessed and I'm in the crowd, I'm blessed because his blessings is so enormous. It's so powerful, and sometimes the blessing just can't be contained to one individual. Sometimes it explodes and rolls over. They were in the right place. Somebody said it was their season. It was their time. It was their time to get blessed. Oh, I beg the difference. When you're in the right place and God has his eyes on you, it doesn't matter who you're around. He'll bless the whole group. The text said one turned around. He realized what had happened to him. He goes back. He falls down, praising and giving God the glory. My last point here. When you've been blessed and you know you've been blessed, tell somebody. Put aside how dignified you are, how educated you are, and tell somebody. And when you get to the house of the Lord, act like you lost your holy, sanctified mind, because the Lord has done something for you. And he said that it is no secret what God can do. What he done for others, wow, he'll do the same for you. And every chance I get, as I look back over my life, I don't care what folks say. If I can make it just to the house of God, I'm going to lift my voice and say, God, I thank you. You've been good to me. You woke me up this morning. You started me on my way. You gave me a song in my heart, joy in my spirit, and I declare, I'm going to praise your name. He's worthy to be praised. He's worthy to have his name called. He's worthy to lift your holy hand. He's worthy to put comfort in your hand. This joy I have, oh, the world didn't give it to me. Oh, and the world can't take it away. This joy.
Come on and give God a hand clap of praise for a word that you just heard on this morning. Oh, I know you can do better than that. But sometimes